Plaintiff Charlena Knight says the defendant is her sister, and they've always had a rocky relationship. Charlena claims the defendant always judged her, even though the defendant cheated on her ex with her current husband, who is with her in court today. Charlena's suing her sister for emotional distress. Defendant Shannon Turner says Charlena started smoking cigarettes in 3rd grade, and by 7th grade, she had graduated to marijuana. Shannon claims Charlena eventually became a drug dealer who stabbed her ex with a steak knife, and she's countersuing for defamation of character.
Start with you.
Okay, the defendant is my sister, and we've always had a rocky relationship. Back in about 2004, we stopped talking for a couple of years because we were at the hospital with my mom, and she started ragging on me about my drug use, and she called me a tramp. I didn't have a problem with her ragging on me about my drug use, but a tramp. I'm like, why is she calling me a tramp when she's married and she's cheating on her husband with her present husband? So who's the tramp? But she's always she has a short fuse, always over the top. And if I can give you an example of a short fuse, her husband may bring her home a bag of potato chips, and she'll look and say, oh my God, you bought me J's? You know I eat Ruffles. Charlie, how could you? Take them back, Charlie, take them back. Just, any and every little thing, she's just over the top.
That's a little more than a short fuse.
Yeah, just totally over the top.
It's like a chemical imbalance.
Yeah, so, but.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
Well, Your Honor, none of that is true. This is coming from a person who's, at age 50, their idol is still Tupac. My little sister.
Mine too.
Well, I've always been there and taken care of my little sister, though it was not always easy. From 3rd grade, getting caught on the playground smoking cigarettes by the teachers, and my mother gets that call. Jump into 7th and 8th grade, getting high on weed before you get to school, and then to get the calls from the teachers about erratic behavior and everything.
Yeah, you got a lot in common.
Okay.
And from.
How old were you when you got caught smoking cigarettes?
I was in elementary school. But
I don't think I was
but
there
she's
yet.
my sister. She's my sister, not my mother. And she's never actually seen me smoke weed. She may have heard of it,
What else
but
you
she's
want
not
me to know?
actually
What
seen
about your craziness?
I don't know, because where I live, they don't sell Jay's potato chips.
Okay.
So
So
that
she
was
was
a
just giving
Chicago
an
thing.
example.
It might not have been that exact brand, but don't bring her the wrong thing home.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
How have you all gotten along? That's the big issue.
I guess I kind of was always being a second mom. Begging my mother to take her back in every time she'd kick her out, give her another chance, on to when she got to her 20s and her baby's father became drug dealers. From there, I still went to my Fortune 500 company that I was working for to get her a job because I felt like she just needed a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, that turned out horrible.
How so?
Because people would come up to me and say, oh, how's your mother's heart attack? I heard she had a heart attack. That didn't happen. She would call in with those stories.
That's a lie.
And never,
that is a lie.
She would call in with those stories and never come to work. Anyway,
Let her finish.
On top of, bad mouthing me and my husband at work, because we all worked there. And so
Which husband? Both of your husbands work there. Which husband are you talking about?
Well, at least I've had a husband.
I've had one too.
And
died.
they both end up dead mysteriously.
Ooh.
Well,
Okay, so.
but the husband that you had at Wrigley's, you was cheating on with him, and he worked there.
Not
How
true.
many other people did you sleep with at the Fortune 500 company?
Okay, so, excuse me.
You want me to start
Excuse
naming
me.
names?
Okay, so every relationship that she's ever had, not just me, it goes down in flames. From stabbing her baby's father in the butt with a steak knife, the one that she was a drug dealer with, from robbing people to having her own workplaces robbed, things like that.
Let's get to the emotional distress you're suing her for. $3,000.
Yes. For a couple of years, my sister begged me to come and live with her and her husband in Georgia. I lived in Denver. For years, she begged me to come there and live there. Because so we can work on our relationship. So it wasn't.
You weren't established there in Denver?
I was. I didn't have any problems.
So what
in
did
Denver,
you do? You left?
Yeah, I sold practically everything that I had and moved there with her.
Okay. How long did you intend to live with her?
We intended to live with each other
Forever?
Throughout our days, yeah.
Okay, so what's your claim today? What has she done to cause you such emotional distress that you should
Well,
get $3,000?
All of a sudden, she tells me that I can no longer live with her. Now I'm homeless. I have nowhere to go. So I go get a truck driving job just so I can have somewhere to live. And that job turned out to be very horrible, and I had to quit that job.
Why?
And go. I'm on the road with strangers. It was a team truck driving company. I'm on the road with strangers. People are nuts, okay? Just absolutely nuts that I found out. There were times where I would run out of hours from driving. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I gotta go up under the trailer to use the bathroom, okay? I'm in California. I'm lost in California. These guys pull up on the side of the truck. I thought they was gonna tell me how to get back to the highway. They tell me, if you stop that truck, I'm taking you and that truck. So just a bunch of horrible things that was going on. And I wasn't making any money. You had me come down here to move in here, but if it didn't work out, it didn't work out.
Right.
Give me heads up, though.
Heads
Give
up
me
like
time.
how long?
Give me time. Tell
How
me,
long?
look, you got a month.
She didn't give you 30 days?
She come to me and say, we're moving. You have to find a place to go. Just like that.
You got out that same day?
I got on the phone. No, I didn't get out the same
long?
day. Might have
30
been
days?
a couple of weeks because she was still in that house. No, it wasn't 30 days, but she hadn't been paying mortgage on that house for years.
Your Honor, first of all, I don't know why she would say she wanted to come live with somebody who she said she never had a good relationship with. Okay,
She said you begged her.
Yeah, that never happened. I gave her an open invitation from the time we got back in contact that anytime she wanted to come down to Georgia to start a new life, because every time you talk to her, this is stressing her out. That is stressing, her daughter is stressing her out, the job is stressing her out. Okay, a guy she started dating is stressing her out. There was no begging. I probably mentioned it only a couple of times because I know the past, okay? And I wasn't sure if she was totally, yes, I was sure that she had totally kicked the heroin problem.
That was heroin problem.
I was sure
it was crack cocaine. No shame in it. That's what it was, and I've been clean 11 years.
I ain't even go into when they came to me. It was heroin at the time.
And
so she did come.
She quit her job, sold all her worldly possessions.
Yes, which nobody told her to sell out. That she could have got a U-Haul and brought it with her if she wanted to.
Lies you tell.
So she did come, but knowing that we were going to downsize. I mean, we had a huge home.
You told her you were downsizing before she came?
Years before she came. Years before she came.
And you downsized while she was there?
Well, while she was there, but a couple months later, she asked could her daughter come with her children. And she did come.
Is that true?
And she stayed with us.
I didn't ask her. She took it up on herself.
Your daughter and her
my
children
daughter and her
came.
children came, but she took it up on herself.
I wasn't going to turn them away.
All right, and how did the tenancy end?
Okay, when she was not established anymore in Denver. She was suspended from her job for about the third or fourth time.
We got all the Denver stuff. We're
Okay.
talking about when she moved with you. She, in essence, says that you deceived her about how long she could stay, and you left her in the lurch when you moved out and told her she had to find somewhere at the last moment. So that's what I need for you to address.
Okay, for a couple years, I'd already said that we were downsizing. So she knew that before she came. When we downsized, we still squeezed everybody into that small space. My husband slept on the floor to make room for them.
You have not addressed my question. I keep asking you the same thing over and over. The end of the tenancy. How did it come about? She said you just came to her in the last minute and said it's time to go.
She went on the road trucking, and she would come back in between to stay with us. She never left. She never left and was never kicked out. My husband will attest to that. She was still, all her stuff was still there. She was never kicked out. One day while she was on the road, she just texted me and said that her life is my fault and that I'm a no good this and a no good that, and she never came back. She was never kicked out. The last conversation we had.
You all still live there?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
Yes, and she never came back. I had to ship
and her
stuff.
things are still there?
She quit the job, and she said she didn't want jobs in Georgia because she said, I'm not working for $10 an hour.
So what happened to her things?
I shipped them to her.
Where?
To Denver, to where she was staying with a friend.
Okay, is that true?
Yes.
All right. Now, your counterclaim for defamation is what?
Is that these emails, after she decided to quit the job and never come back to us, she started sending emails to my husband's family, my husband's friends, and my daughter.
Saying what?
Saying that I'm crazy, that I don't like their children, I don't like my husband's children, I like only half white kids, and that I sit locked in a room with a gun because I'm afraid of somebody.
Who is she sending those to, ma'am?
She sent it to my husband's sister and my husband's
Did it hurt
brother.
your reputation with them?
Because you know what? We are a real family.
Yeah, did it hurt your reputation?
Yes,
did they believe it? They believed it? You need some family who believe that you don't sit in the dark with a shotgun and you only like half white kids. I don't know what you all's problem is. I don't know why you came here to waste my time. You have just admitted that you moved back to Denver after telling me all this stuff. She kicked me out. She did this and the other. You admitted to having a job just because you don't like your job trucking. I don't like this all the time, coming here to listen to this. I don't like this all the time. So, and then you want to sue her because she told a relative you like to sit in the dark with a shotgun and you only like half white kids. Your relatives know better than that. Have a good day, both of you ladies. Case is dismissed.
Well, my husband is a cancer survivor. My daughter is a blood clot survivor, still living with blood clots. I'm going to focus on my family and hope that I never have to deal with this issue or any issues from her ever again.
My grandson was just in ICU fighting for his life, and none of them came to see about him. When me and her started back talking, her daughter was in ICU. We weren't talking, but I flew all the way down there.
I've done nothing
to support her.
I've done nothing but take care of her grandkids.
But I'm done. I never want to
I've done
see
nothing
her
but
again
financially
ever
take
in my
care
life.
of her
I'm
and her
done.
kids.
Thank you.
Yes, me either.